Right. So we're going to deep dive into something a little different today.
Okay.
It's all about failure.
Failure.
Yeah, failure. Like when things go wrong. But get this inspirational video you sent over. It actually says that there's an upside to failing.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's about like flipping the script on how we see these like oops moments.
I mean, that's pretty counterintuitive, right? We're always told to avoid failure at all costs.
Right.
Yeah.
But this video is like, hey, failure is a tool you can use to grow.
That's right.
So I'm kind of like, okay, I'll bite. How do they convince us that failing is good?
Well, it all starts with this idea that failure gives you learning experiences that success just can't.
Oh, okay.
You know, when everything goes right, you might miss things you could improve. But when you stumble, it forces you to analyze like what went wrong and how to do it better.
I get it. It's like, what's that saying about smooth seas and sailors?
Yeah, like smooth seas don't make skilled sailors or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the video uses this great example, Elon Musk and SpaceX.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
So we all know SpaceX now, right? They're like this huge space exploration company. But that journey, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Not at all.
It's like a rocky road.
It was a very bumpy road.
Yeah, remember those early launches?
Oh, yeah.
They were pretty intense.
Nail biters for sure.
Yeah, weren't there like a bunch of explosions?
Yeah, 3 in a row.
Oh, wow.
Catastrophic failures.
Wow.
Costing millions of dollars. And it made people really skeptical of Musk.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, after 3 explosions, you'd think maybe this isn't going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy to just give up right there.
Right.
But he didn't.
He didn't. He just kept going.
He and his team, they analyzed every single failure.
Oh.
Like really dug deep to figure out what caused those explosions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So those failures, even though they were expensive and kind of scary,
absolutely,
they gave them the information to fix their designs and eventually succeed.
Exactly.
It's like Thomas Edison, right? He says something like, I found 10,000 ways that it won't work before I found the way it did.
Exactly.
So it's like a similar thing.
Yeah, it's a great example of how you can embrace failure instead of being afraid of it. And then you can achieve amazing things.
This is making me think about my own goals, you know? Like, what's the worst that could actually happen if I trip up along the way?
Right.
Maybe it's not as bad as I'm imagining.
That's a great point. And that's actually something the video encourages us to do.
Oh, really?
To actually look at our fear of failing and break down those worst case scenarios.
Okay.
Often when we really think about it,
yeah,
it's more about how we see it than what it really is.
So instead of like freezing up because we're scared to fail, we can see it as a chance to learn.
Exactly.
So it's not about going out and looking for failure, but it's about realizing that like it's going to happen.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, and we can actually use it.
Absolutely.
To figure out where we're going.
It gives you clarity and direction.
Okay, so failure can teach us a lot. But let's be real, it can also be tough emotionally.
Oh, yeah.
We've all had that feeling of like, ugh, I messed up.
You feel that disappointment.
Yeah, and you start to doubt yourself.
Definitely.
When things don't go your way.
Totally.
So the video talks about this too.
It does.
It acknowledges those feelings.
Yeah.
But then it brings up this really interesting concept.
What's that?
Resilience.
Resilience, yeah.
It's like that inner strength that helps you bounce back.
Bounce back from setbacks.
Yeah, but how do you build it?
Right.
Like, are you born with it or can you...
Yeah, is it something you can develop?
Yeah, can you develop it over time?
Yeah.
So the video uses this analogy to explain how resilience works.
Okay.
And it compares it to working out.
Oh, okay.
Like lifting weights.
All right, I'm following you.
So those first few reps, they're tough. Your muscles are sore.
Right.
You might even want to quit.
You want to give up.
But if you keep pushing through,
you keep going,
you gradually get stronger.
Exactly.
And it's the same with life's challenges. Every time we face a setback and work through it,
you're doing reps.
We're basically doing reps for our resilience muscle.
Or your resilience muscle, exactly.
So those moments when we feel like giving up are actually the moments that are building our ability to overcome future challenges.
That's it.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
It's like every time you fail, every obstacle you overcome, it makes your resilience muscle stronger.
So you're better equipped to deal with whatever life throws at you.
Exactly.
Wow, I love that analogy. It makes resilience seem so much more real.
Yeah, it makes it tangible.
Yeah, and it shows that failure isn't weakness. It's a chance to get stronger inside.
It's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah. So we're not done yet with reframing failure.
No, we're not.
There's this other concept in the video I really want to explore.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about how failure can teach you and make you more resilient and even give you a clearer path to success.
Yeah.
But this video takes it even further.
Oh, really?
It talks about finding the fun in failure.
The fun in failure.
Entertainment.
Okay, I gotta admit, that's not the first thing I think of when I screw up.
It's not usually associated with fun.
Yeah, but how can we actually have fun when we fail?
Well, it starts with realizing that we're kind of taught to see failure as this big, scary thing.
Yeah, like a monster under the bed.
Exactly. But what if we changed how we see it?
Okay.
What if instead of being afraid, we got curious about failure?
Okay.
Or even found it funny?
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about those blooper reels you see for movies and TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when actors mess up their lines or the props break.
Yeah, or like something totally random happens.
Exactly, and it's hilarious.
It's like the best part of the DVD extras.
Right, and that's the point. We find those bloopers entertaining because they're unexpected. They break the perfect image.
Yeah.
And they remind us that even super talented people make mistakes.
So we can look at our own lives that way.
Exactly.
Like, instead of getting mad at ourselves,
yeah,
we can laugh at the situation.
Find the humor in it.
Appreciate how crazy it is.
Yeah, embrace the unexpected.
So it's like, wow, that didn't go at all how I planned.
Right.
But, hey, it's kind of funny how it all happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that change in how you see things can be really freeing.
Okay.
You're not so scared to fail anymore.
Yeah.
And you can be more creative and innovative.
Because when you're not worried about messing up, you're more likely to try new things and push the limits, right?
Exactly.
So there's less holding you back.
Yeah, and here's another good thing about seeing the fun in failure.
What's that?
It helps you move on faster.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on the negative,
yeah,
you learn from it and move on to the next thing.
It's like you turn those failures into stories.
Yeah.
You can share with people and even laugh about. So instead of hiding them, they become part of who you are.
They add to your experience.
Yeah.
And the video gives some tips on how to actually do this.
Oh, really? Like what?
One thing it suggests is to look for examples of failure in areas you're interested in.
So like watching documentaries about inventions that didn't work?
Yeah.
Or reading about companies that made big mistakes?
Exactly. Or listening to podcasts where people talk about their setbacks and comebacks.
That's interesting.
When you see different examples of failure, you start to see it as normal.
Yeah.
It's something everyone goes through.
Like you're building up this collection of failure stories.
Yeah, a mental library.
That you can use to remind yourself you're not alone.
Exactly.
That's really helpful.
The video also says to pay attention to how you talk about failure.
Oh, you mean like instead of saying, I totally bombed that presentation?
Yeah.
You could say, well, that presentation didn't go as planned, but I learned a lot.
Exactly. It might seem small.
Yeah.
But the words we use really affect how we think and feel.
So it's about taking control.
Yeah.
And focusing on the good parts, even if it wasn't perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And here's a fun one. The video suggests keeping a failure journal.
A failure journal? What's that?
It's a place where you write about your failures.
Okay.
But instead of focusing on the bad stuff, you write about the funny or unexpected parts.
Okay.
What you learned, what surprised you, and what made you laugh.
So it's like turning those failures into funny stories.
Yeah, like those blooper reels.
Yeah.
And by writing it down, you're dealing with the experience and also keeping track of your growth and resilience.
I like that it's a way to acknowledge what happened without letting it get you down.
Exactly. And over time, that journal becomes a valuable resource.
How so?
You can look back and see how much you've grown, how you've handled challenges, and how even the toughest moments can become funny later on.
This whole idea of finding the fun in failure has really changed how I think.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's not about pretending the hard stuff isn't there.
Right.
It's about choosing to see the good, the humor, the unexpected opportunities.
You got it.
So what's next in our deep dive into reframing failure?
Well, there's one more layer to this concept that we haven't explored yet.
Okay, so we've seen how failure can teach us stuff, make us tougher, and even be kind of funny.
Right.
But now this video throws a real curveball.
Oh, what's that?
It says we should romanticize failure.
Romanticize it.
Yeah, romanticize failure.
That's interesting.
I know, right? It's like we're always told to avoid failure.
Yeah, like it's a bad thing.
Right. Not to, like, fall in love with it.
It does seem kind of backwards.
Yeah. So how does this whole romanticizing thing work?
Well, it starts by realizing that our culture has a really limited idea of success.
Uh-huh.
It's all about awards looking good on the outside, the perfect Instagram life.
Yeah. It's like this pressure to be perfect all the time.
Exactly. And failure is seen as this shameful secret.
That's you gotta hide.
Right. Like it means you're weak or not good enough.
Which makes us so scared to even try anything new.
Yeah, because we're terrified of messing up.
So we just play it safe, stick to what we know.
Even if it doesn't make us happy.
Exactly.
And that's where romanticizing failure comes in.
Okay.
It's about saying no to those beliefs and seeing failure as a good thing.
Like a badge of honor.
Yeah, like a sign that you're living a real life.
Even if you trip up along the way.
Exactly. It's about accepting the messiness, the imperfections.
Because those are the things that shape us.
Right. Think about famous artists, writers, musicians. Their journeys weren't easy.
They had struggles.
Yeah, they faced criticism, rejection years of no one knowing who they were.
So those tough times, those moments of doubt,
yeah,
those were like the fire that made their creativity and resilience stronger.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of romanticizing failure.
Okay.
It's about seeing those tough times as opportunities for growth.
It's like giving ourselves permission to be human.
Yeah, to make mistakes, to learn and grow.
And to celebrate the whole journey.
With all the ups and downs.
This is really making me rethink how I see failure.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
But how do we actually do this?
Well, the video has some tips.
Okay.
One is to hang out with people who embrace failure.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, the people around us really influence how we see things.
If everyone's scared to fail or judges others for messing up,
it's going to be hard to change your own mindset.
Yeah, so we need people who support our growth.
People who celebrate our efforts even when things don't go perfectly.
Yeah, who remind us it's okay to stumble as long as we get back up.
Exactly. People who see your failures.
Yeah.
Not as a sign of who you are, but as proof that you're brave and willing to learn.
Oh, okay, that's powerful.
Another tip is to redefine what success means to you.
It's so easy to get caught up in those external things.
Yeah, the big job, the fancy house, the perfect social media.
But real success is different.
It is. It's about living by your values.
Yeah.
Following your passions, making a positive difference.
And enjoying the journey.
Exactly. And when you define success for yourself, failure takes on a whole new meaning.
It becomes a step on your path.
Yeah. A chance to adjust, to learn.
And to get closer to the life you want.
Exactly.
This whole deep dive has been eye-opening.
I'm glad you found it valuable.
We started by seeing how failure can teach us, then we found the humor in it, and now we've ended up romanticizing it.
It's quite a journey.
Yeah, seeing it as a badge of honor and a way to live a more authentic life.
It's about realizing that failure isn't the opposite of success.
Right.
It's a part of life.
It shows our courage and resilience.
And it often leads to our biggest growth and creativity.
So for everyone listening, we encourage you to think about your own relationship with failure.
Yeah. What happens when you look at it differently?
How would that change how you approach challenges and setbacks?
Remember, failure isn't the end.
It's often just the beginning
Of something amazing.